Hi, and well done on getting to this stage. You're at the cortisol phase of the program. The Real Energy program was initially part 1, that was repairing your enterocytes. This is part 2, you're beginning to balance the adrenal glands, which are in control of a lot of the hormones in your body. They balance your mood, how you feel, your energy throughout the day, most importantly. So what we have to start with is the chart down below that you'll see is the cortisol chart connected to your circadian rhythm, which is your waking and sleeping cycle. So how does it work, and what's this chart got to do with it? So you're eating every 2.5 to 3 hours at this stage. This isn't something that you have to do for the rest of your life. However, it will be always a good idea to stay mindful of the fact that if you leave a big gap, your blood sugar levels will drop. And if you eat something very sweet, or something that's sweet on an empty stomach when you're hungry, then your blood sugar levels will spike. What we're trying to avoid is that there is no huge spike and no deep trough, that you're somewhere in around the middle. And once you're in around the middle, once your levels aren't going really up high and really down low, once there's some way teetering around the middle, then you can really see that there's going to be balance of energy throughout your day and throughout your night, because some people report that they're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. When they look at this, they go, oh my goodness, this chart points to exactly what I need and exactly what's going wrong in my diet. Now there's kind of two different ideas in this chart. The first one is the line that shows your typical cortisol range, which is really high in the morning, and that's why some of my clients that have anxiety report that their anxiety is worst first thing in the morning. So it means that their cortisol is shooting a little bit too high. It's fine to have somewhat high cortisol first thing in the morning, because that's what gets you out of bed. It's the hormone cortisol that says, come on, get up. And that's why some people can't get up out of bed, because their cortisol levels are too low in the morning. Dysregulation of your adrenal glands is a major factor, a huge factor, in adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, just general fatigue and sleeplessness or sleep too much. All of these things are controlled by hormones to a large extent. So we're going to have a pretty big impact once we have your cortisol levels a little bit balanced. I used to test an awful lot for cortisol here in the clinic, and eventually I stopped because you could just see it. There was no point in me taking blood or saliva swabs and sending them to a lab in England and getting it checked and then coming back and me seeing, oh my goodness, their cortisol levels are out. So they are going to be out if someone is suffering from fatigue. So fixing it will involve eating every 2.5 to 3 hours at this stage. It's something that's a good idea to keep in mind, though, for the rest of your life, that avoiding too much sugar and avoiding big gaps of hunger is the most important part of balancing your energy throughout the day. You can see the start of this chart down below. The start of it is your cortisol levels that are highest first thing in the morning. So your cortisol levels will affect the fact that you want to get up out of bed. They're giving you energy to get you up out of bed. So your cortisol levels are supposed to be high in the morning, not too high though, otherwise you start feeling a little anxious first thing in the morning and maybe you wake up super early, and not too low, otherwise you won't be able to get out of bed. So it'll be difficult for you to get out of bed. You can still manage it somehow, but it will be very difficult. So we're trying to make it easier for the system to work properly, for your energy making and energy balancing systems to work properly. So you can see later on in the day that it goes on to about 2, it goes on to, let's say someone got up at about 8, it goes on to about 10, 11, they're having a bit of food at 11, maybe half 11, 12, they're having a little bit of food, or they're skipping snack and going straight through the day and on to lunch. That would be wrong. And you can see the pink line that goes in means putting a little snack in there. So putting in something like a handful of nuts and seeds, a bowl of cereal, the good cereals that you'll see in as your options, having a little buckwheat cracker or quinoa cracker with some almond butter on it, with a chopped up banana, something like that. With, again, having your fruits with carbohydrates is always the best way to do your fruits. And of course the best fruits for balancing blood sugar levels, or for keeping them balanced without spiking them, will of course be blueberries, some apple, not 4 apples throughout the day, shall we say, and maybe half a banana now, half a banana later on. So what we're at that stage now where you've had your snack in the middle of the day, and then you have your lunch, and then after that, let's say, typically someone will skip doing anything else from a food perspective and finish up maybe about 6, go home, have their dinner going on 6:30 or 7. There's been a gap there of 4 or 5 hours at that stage. Your blood sugar levels are dropping. At that stage, you're not getting a message to your brain saying, it would be lovely if you popped into the kitchen and chopped up some vegetables. Your brain is screaming, give me sugar, because it uses 30% of your sugar throughout the day. It's not going to give you an option. It's not going to say, oh look, walk past that bar of chocolate there in the supermarket or in the shop and go straight to the vegetable aisle. It'll be shouting, give me sugar, until we have a balance. So if you put food in, again, 2.5 to 3 hours after lunch, at this stage, then your balancing your cortisol levels, balancing your blood sugar levels, so you're not going to be hungry later on. Your sugar is stable, and that's what we're trying to get to happen. We're slightly pretending you're a bit of a diabetic at this stage, so be very aware of 2.5 to 3 hours. There are apps out there. There are people that set their phone alarm to ring every 2.5 to 3 hours throughout the day to remind them, and the alarm simply says, eat. So you just got to eat something, again, not something that will spike your blood sugar levels, so not something that's going to be like a bar of chocolate, obviously, or 2 apples and an orange or anything like that. Although they are full to the brim of nutrients at this stage of the program, we just need you to stay balanced. We just need you to not spike anything and not spike your blood sugar levels. So again, going back to the chart, you then, let's say, put in something at 3 o'clock, let's say, in the middle of the day, or maybe 3:30 or even 2:30 at that stage if you're still a little bit peckish after lunch. Then it's going to be something like, again, a handful of nuts, buckwheat crackers, some hummus on a rice cracker or something like that, a whole wheat rice cracker, would be absolutely brilliant as well. So these are all things that you can start bringing with you. And there's a lot of prep involved in this part, so a little bit of chopping if you're leaving the house. If you're someone who's still at home, then it's much easier for you to do this. If you're leaving the house, Tupperware is your friend. Get those containers in there, jars of this, that and the other. Bring them all in, put them in the fridge and work if possible, or just bring them in a chiller bag if possible as well. Some people put them in the boot of their car, and some of my clients that would be very, very strict about this, and I've seen it work, so have become very strict about this, have a little food bag in the back of their car that has chiller compartments and separate compartments that pop out, like a fisherman's toolbox basically, that it's like, there's a compartment opens up and there's nuts in there, and this compartment opens up and there's crackers in there. So they've always, if they're on the road especially, got something to eat at any stage. So you've had something to eat at 4, come 6 o'clock, you can go home, you can take your time, you can chop up some vegetables. There's no emergency being sent from your brain to get you to put sugar into your brain as quickly as possible. Again, your brain won't say, chop up something that will eventually become sugar. Your brain will say, give me some very simple carbohydrates in the form of a white flour or white potatoes, or give me something that which will convert to sugar very quickly in your body. Or it won't say, give me something good. At this stage, though, if you had something at 4, it'll say, there's no rush, take your time. My blood sugar levels are stable. Give me something, in an hour or so. So you have time to concentrate on these things. And all because you had a little snack at, 3:30, 4 o'clock. So then going on to the evening, a lot of my clients, they either binge in the evening or they don't eat at all in the evening. So actually, speaking of not eating, breakfast is a really important meal. So breakfast with proteins is especially important. I've put some protein breakfast ideas lower down in this program, so have a read of those and try to get those in. And some people then will skip, of course, some having a snack in the evening and thinking, if I don't eat in the evening when I'm not hungry, great, I can go to bed. Your cortisol levels would have the potential, if you go to bed on an empty stomach, to wake you up in the early in the morning or in the middle of the night. So it'll break your sleep cycle, and even if it doesn't wake you up, you may not enter the full REM that you need for 4 hours for physical repair in the middle of the night. So give yourself a chance to get a snack again. Some people would have a bowl of popcorn, some people will have a bowl of nuts, again, crackers, a bowl of cereal, anything like that, or leftovers from the beautiful meal that was full of vegetables and healthy things, and the base and the snacks and the base and the salad and stuff like that from your dinner. So leftovers are great for an evening snack as well, because again, you probably put more effort into making them nutrient dense. But other than that, then that's it. So morning, then 2.5 to 3 hours later a snack, then lunch, then 2.5 to 3 hours later a snack, then dinner, and then 2.5 to 3 hours later a snack again. So at that stage you're able to see that the pattern is 2.5 to 3 hours of eating. Staying hydrated is very important as well, but you'll see some better ideas and tips as you're reading further down this. So thanks for watching, and I hope you understood everything, and if you have any questions, get in touch. Talk to you soon.